right away? Think you good?
Just about. Move that, 'cause it's gonna get away. You can probably start talking. I'm just gonna slow this.
Oh, so I see it says live. Is that you think you're good?
Yep, you're good. I'm just changing the
okay.
settings so that the
So
comments
I got
come in.
I got caught up watching all this neat stuff.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm trying to pick it up and understand it.
Mhm.
All right, so it is 11:59. So first of all, good afternoon. This is our Facebook Live Chat with the Chief session for September. So there's a lot going on in the department, a lot going on in our city. I just want to share a few things with you, and just kind of the whole point of these conversations are that to in fact have back and forth. So I am hoping that citizens will write in. It's an opportunity for me to talk directly to you. It's still a little odd for me talking into this round ball with this blue eye right in the middle. It's different than those face to face, but I understand and appreciate technology and the ability. I know life is so fast paced and it's hard to get to meetings and hard to do different things. So this is something that it allows me to have a lot of interaction. And then if individuals are able to tune in, that's great. If they watch it later, that's great. But my intent really is to answer questions that you all might have about the department and what we're doing in law enforcement, issues around law enforcement today. Just have open dialogue and conversations, and then when we hit some gaps, I'll just fill in some things that are going on. Now, I will do my very best, I promise, my very best to hit every comment that comes in. I will probably miss some. Sometimes it jumps a little bit because comments will come in multiple at a time. I'm going to do my very, very best, and if I miss one, please forgive me. Charge it to my heart, not to. I'm going to do my best. I promise. So let me do some hellos. So we got some folks coming in already. So, Carrie, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Faith, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Bianca, right? Oh, Bianca, how are you doing? It's good to have you on board. Thank you, and thank you for the awesome conversations that we have. I appreciate that. I know we've talked a lot here in the last couple months, so I appreciate that. Sharon, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Miss Jones, how can I contact you? Miss Jones, if you just call and ask to speak to the chief, they'll put you through to my assistant, or you can email me directly. Either way, and we can go from there. Okay. Let's see. Thank you for doing these. So, Bianca, let me tell you, it was not easy, right? They talked to me when I first got here about, hey, Chief, we could do these. And I'm like, nah, nobody's going to log in. I'm used to going to community meetings. People raise their hand. We have open dialogue. But I will tell you, they were absolutely right. This just gives me the opportunity, and for people who can't get out, and it has been very, very valuable. So I listened. I was wrong. I listened. They were right. They're the experts. I appreciate that. Thank you. Arlene, good afternoon, Chief. We appreciate your willingness to share with us. Arlene, thank you, and appreciate you for tuning in this afternoon. That means a lot. All right, so we got that. Ms. Jones. Yeah, so Ms. Jones, I know a little bit about that. I don't know if I would say that they're refusing to return it. There's some things that have to happen. So we probably should have some conversations. But we can talk directly. If you email me, if you send me your number, I'll call you directly myself and share with that. But there's some issues going on with the phone that we can talk about. I don't know that you want to do it. I certainly don't want to do it with you over the base. But I can explain that to you. Is it Krista? Mm-hmm. Is that right? Good afternoon, Chief Drew. Thank you for your officers for the work they did in the death of the hotel in September. Unfortunately, that was the individual you and I had a phone conversation about. Again, thank you for all. Wow, I appreciate that. It's funny. I just did an interview about domestic violence, and we were talking about loss of life, and It never gets easy. It never gets easy. So I appreciate that. I appreciate your words. I still wish we could have done more. But it means a lot that you took the time to write that in, and thank you. We have had some coming. I appreciate that. All right, so Ms. Jones, I think we hit that. Ms. Harper, has there been any updates with Shanita? So, Ms. Harper, I will tell you, and I should have said this at the beginning, and I apologize. It's a great segue. If someone asks about an individual case, I will be as open and transparent as I can, without crossing the line of hurting the case or hurting the investigation. So, I will tell you, Ms. Harper, we had some information came in last week. And on Friday, it's like a big puzzle, and bits and pieces come in. So on Friday, we had some information. We were very, very, very hopeful. We probably had about 70 individuals. We used our recruit classes, myself and the assistant chiefs, just about all of our detectives in the Major Crimes Division. We used a dog. We used drone and technology and some other things that we had out there in 2 locations. We searched them both at the same time. It took all of the morning and well into the afternoon. And it was in, some places that were, I granted, we put some people in some difficult situations, but there were, and when I say that, I mean terrain and areas to search. It had there were some issues there, some challenges, but that's what we did. And I thought it was important to check those locations, and I was really, really excited. We talked to the family before and after, and I saw a lot of hope. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our recruit class, but recruits were very, very engaged, very slow and methodical search. Regretfully, we were unable to locate her. But I will tell you, the effort, it's bits and pieces and using technology, information that comes in. But it was a long day last Friday. I saw a lot of people, I don't want to say frustrated, but we were really, really hopeful. Me being one of them. I was excited. I was ready to come to work. We started about 6:30 in the morning, and we were well till 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And people worked really hard. So that's about all I can give you. That we did do 2 locations where we had large areas to search and had a large turnout. I did use, for the most part, sworn officers in the locations, because some of the locations were, it would have been very, very difficult for people to get through and around. So we'll leave it at that. But that's a great question. And Ms. Harper, I want to thank you, and I want to thank people in this city who are praying. It is my hope to provide some closure. And I cannot tell you the number of people who just email, text message, and call in and say that we're praying for you and the department and that family. That means a lot. Ms. Jones, yeah, we'll talk. Absolutely. Good. Thank you. Ms. Brown, thank you. I appreciate that. Paul, good afternoon. Watching for the, like Philippines, the Philippines. That's not a misspell, right? Wait, scroll back up, Melanie.
Yep.
What's Paul's last name? Right. Wow. Well, hello from Newport News to the Philippines. I appreciate you chiming in today. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me ask you a question. How are things there? Weather conditions? How are you all and people there in the Philippines? April. Let's go back to this.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, it didn't.
Nope, that's okay.
Where did it go?
Oh, went all the way to the top.
Oh.
That's okay. So
There we go, April.
Hello, Chief. What is being done about the prostitution on 29th of March? Well, thanks for all you do. April, it's a great question, and I appreciate you for chiming in. Thanks for bringing that up. We will do some interdictions, some things with hotels, some areas where we get some prostitution calls. At times it's difficult. I will tell you this. I probably get the number one call for service I get contacted about is speed. Chief, what are we doing about speeding here? I have to make sure and look at our resources and how sometimes we have to do some special initiatives. Prostitution is one of them. When officers have some free time, they can go through those areas and check. I guarantee you, they know those individuals. They interact with them. They will talk to them. Hey, what are you doing here today? And how are things going? They know those individuals. So we're always going to put the majority of our resources and try to focus on those calls for service and violent crimes in our city. One thing that everyone's talking about across the country and here in the 7 cities is gun violence, domestic violence, or those type things, following up on cases and investigations. So I don't say that to say we're not doing anything about it, but sometimes we have to do coordinated events, whether it's DUI patrols, traffic enforcement. We may do a driver's license checkpoint at a location where we're seeing high accident rates or a lot of complaints of speeding. I've heard one or two. I haven't heard a lot of issues there at 29th and Marshall. I am familiar with some of the concern there. So we'll continue to focus on that. But if someone sees it or sees acts going on or individuals, if they call in, it allows us to track it through our computer system, our CAD system, so we can go back at next month and how many calls we get for prostitution, what were the times that people called in, and what are the locations, and maybe put a concentrated effort in that time frame. I was meeting with the ABC board yesterday. ABC agent yesterday talking about some larcenies and thefts at ABC stores, and we're really looking at trying to pinpoint what stores are having the highest thefts and what time of day is that happening. So it's sort of that same mindset. So so I can tell you it's an ongoing thing with the officers in South Precinct to continue to patrol that area and talk to individuals and address them and individuals who stop in the middle of the street to talk to them. A lot of those things deal with, I think there's sometimes some mental illness and drug issues, drug addiction, hotels or places, locations that individuals will go. Sometimes there's even a house involved that individuals will take people back to. So we continue to stay on it, address those calls when they come in, and then it may be something that we maybe need to look at some overtime initiatives, just like we do with traffic and other things that maybe we need to focus on dealing with prostitution. But that's a great call and great point. I appreciate that. So thank you for your other comments as well. It was Mr. Holman. I think it was about missing.
Yes.
I think I got briefed on
There
that
you go.
yesterday and this morning. Was it Bianca? Yep. We've been told missing man James Allen could be in danger. What more can you share about this appearance? So right now, Bianca, not too much. What we're looking for is an individual. We put out the I want to make sure I said it. The Ashante alert. There were some circumstances that came as I was briefed on this case. There were some circumstances that we felt like it meets the threshold. Some things that concerning and some information we got from quite frankly from family members as well. So when you look at some of the circumstances, last seen, information from the family, it took us to the next threshold. I'm going to get another briefing this afternoon, so I may push something out if there's anything more, but I can't put more than that out right now. There were some things that were going on yesterday and some things I believe this morning that I'm looking to hear some more from the lieutenant or the captain of the division. So I may know a little bit more later this afternoon, but it is important that we put that information out and do the best you can to try to locate him. That's I appreciate that. That's very good. Robin, hey Chief, hope you're doing well. Always good. Robin, thank you. Thanks for being here and logging in, sharing some information back and forth. It's funny. It's scrolling. It's all right though. It's good. It's okay. So you didn't. If I should have said before, Sarah's working with me today from our media relations office, and basically I'm not allowed to touch anything. She tells me, it's okay. Now you're live, and so she just does all the work behind the scenes and makes it all work. So she really gets all the credit for this. Ms. Harper, thank you. I appreciate that. Robin, again, thank you for being here. Annette, good afternoon. I'm glad you joined us. Paul, yes, on vacation in the Philippines. There you go. Okay. Watch all of your lives. I usually work in the Newport News area. Wow. Okay, Paul. I please be safe. I saw in the news today, this morning, some of the, I don't want to pronounce, is it Fiona? The Hurricane Fiona that's come through, and how it had really hit Puerto Rico. I think last count there were 3 individuals that may have lost their lives there. And I know as we get into hurricane season, you certainly don't get hit as hard as some others, but I'm very cognizant of that. I was sad to see some of that damage. It was just horrific what those storms can do. So, but I appreciate you, Paul, for tuning in. Wow, in the Philippines, that's pretty cool. And I know this may sound minor, but the grass at Atkins and Jefferson is pretty high. It just makes it difficult to see when you are trying to make the right on the Jefferson from Atkins. And that, I'll tell you, it may be minor in the big scope of things, but it plays a role. And I don't know if you knew, we had talked a while back, the city manager and myself had talked about issues. Sometimes what precursors to crime is neighborhoods that are in blight, or things like that don't get addressed, meaning high grass, dilapidated buildings, poor lighting, potholes, abandoned vehicles on the side of the road, vehicles with wheels off, abandoned buildings that should be boarded up that aren't. So we created an environmental officer position. We will have one in each precinct. So the area you're talking about is the north. Right now we just have one in the south. We did it on a trial run. City council voted and allowed us to increase our overall strength for budget to hire a total of 3 officers to do that type of work. And that is exactly what they will be focusing on. So they'll be partnering with Works and Utilities and code enforcement, and it's those issues of really addressing blight. Trash that's thrown out, illegal dumping of tires, poor lighting, and whether it may just be we just got to clean lenses or maybe we up the wattage. We've done a lot of that. City manager has been a big push on addressing lighting in our city, and we really hit 3 or 4 areas that had issues with crime, and the light has really helped played a big role. Being able to put better cameras in and seeing more that happens in those communities, and just changing how things look make a big difference. So it's not a minor thing, and that's something I can work with our environmental officer that we do have. But soon, my hope is January, February of 2023, we will have each environmental officer in place at each precinct, and that's exactly what they'll be focusing on.
I'm sending that to your house right now.
And Sarah, who's usually ahead of me anyway, just forwarded that to our environmental officer now, so we can share that. And all that is, it's someone on the street to give us a quick access to the resources and other partners that we have in the city to address those issues. And that's just phenomenal. So I appreciate you bringing that in. Sarah, can you scroll? I just want to make sure I didn't miss. You got a net. Thank you. We'll be on the lookout for the update later. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I just questions you asked, the same that I asked, and I got the answers I needed yesterday. I just want to know if there's any update before I push anything else out. Hello, call 311 from a landline or from your cell and tell them they can. Oh wow! All right, so am I reading that right? Is that Tommy? Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
So one of the things you can do, going back to that issue at Atkins with the tall grass. So we do have a 311 system. They track that as well. That's exactly who our environmental officer will work with, and it gets that information in and updated, puts a timestamp on it and a date when someone called, and then it helps us with accountability. So that's a great point, Tommy. I appreciate that, and that's great. Ms. Brumfield, it's good. Annette, gotcha. Thank you. Nakia, it's good to Ms. Brumfield. You know what? You're my friend. I'm calling you Nakia. So it's good to see you on today, and I appreciate everything you're doing. Hope all is well. Does that kind of get me caught up?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things I want to share with you. Right now, crime in our city, homicides, to start there. We have 22 homicides this year compared to the exact same number this time last year. We started out about 2 months ago. We were about 14 or 15 shootings above where we were this time last year. We started to see those decrease, and now we have about 7 shootings, 6 or 7 shootings more this year than last year. So we're still up, but the difference has started to drop down. And it's my hope that we don't have any more at all, homicides or shootings. If we reported our numbers to the FBI today, the city's up about 11%. The crime that we're seeing the largest jump in has been larceny, thefts, stealing. And we look at that, and I'm like, why are the numbers so high? And then I'm reminded from talking to other chiefs in the area and across the country that in 20 and 21, when we were going through our pandemic, that a lot of businesses were closed down. There weren't a lot of people walking around the malls. There weren't a lot of people going to smaller businesses and shops. And so what I tried to do is go back and look at our larcenies this year compared to the larcenies in 2019, pre-COVID. And I'll tell you, they are just about exactly the same. So I think that pandemic, I'm not making any excuses. That's what's driving our crime. We're always going to focus more on our violent crime. But we're up probably about 120, maybe 130 larcenies, and it's thefts, it's shoplifting, and some of those businesses were just not open in 2020 and 2021. But if I go back to 2019 before COVID, they're just about the same. So it's just relevant. I just want to make sure we look at that. September. This is Suicide Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Month. There's a lot of, when we talk about suicide, how that affects all of us, all walks of life. There's no, just like domestic violence, there's no particular race, there's no particular zip code, there's no particular age. It's individuals that, whether there's some issues mentally, right, chemically, or just suffering from depression, things that happen, and maybe somebody doesn't have an outlet, or someone doesn't have someone to talk to, or they don't have a church that they belong to, and all those things that someone might not have are all things I would recommend. Friendship, talking about feelings and issues, hotlines, resources, churches, pastors, faith-based groups. We also looked at in law enforcement. So we have a CISM team, a crisis intervention team, that deal with and talk to officers who go to critical scenes or dispatchers who take critical calls. And part of that is for a long time in law enforcement, at least my experience in almost 30 years, when I started, we just didn't talk about things that we saw or that affected us. See something horrific happen to a child, or a traffic fatality, or a shooting, or God forbid, a homicide. And officers, have families just like everybody else. But we didn't talk about those things. In fact, sometimes you were looked at weak if it bothered you, because you wore a uniform and the stigma. But I will tell you, it affects all of us in our mind. Some just suppress it. And there's ways to get that out, whether it's having conversation, through physical activity, working out, running, playing sports, your faith, reading a book, being able to decompress, family, activities, whatever that is. What's concerning is when people don't allow that out and keep it all bottled up inside. Something triggers and explodes it, or you get to a place where you can't overcome it. So the month of September is Suicide Awareness Month. I bring all that up. I want to tell you about an event that we're having, but I also want to say that not only does that affect members of society, it affects law enforcement as well. I've known officers who have regrettably have taken their own life, and that affects so many people: family, children, spouse, people you work with, friends. So I talk in law enforcement today. Most departments really put an emphasis on mental health wellness. But here in Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, individuals here, Sarah and others, wanted to do something not only for the department, but for the community as well. So I say that to say, September the 21st, Wednesday, if I got the right date, at 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church, great partners of ours. That's at the intersection, right, of Warwick and City Center. There's a list, I think 3 or 4 speakers are going to come talk about suicide prevention, awareness, that it's okay to talk about it, if you see something, or to say something, not only to individuals who might be affected or suffering from some type of depression or suicidal thoughts, or tendencies, or concerns, or that if you might know someone, what are avenues out to help people to reach out. Sometimes I can't imagine individuals who are just waiting, right, for someone to let them know they care about them, that they mean something to them. that they're worried about this. Sometimes it may just take that comment, that handshake, that, hey, let's have a conversation. Hey, are you okay? I'm checking on you. And that's what we try to do in the department. When individuals go to some scenes or stay at scenes for a long time, oftentimes myself or others will call and I will ask, hey, just check on Officer so-and-so. I know they just had a newborn and they went through a situation where a child was hurt. I need somebody to check on them. Let me have his number. I want to check on him or her. So tomorrow, right, tomorrow, the 21st, 6 p.m., it's open to the public and to officers. So if you're logged on, I don't mean just Newport News, but any police department, civilians, anyone in Newport News, to stop by. They've got some nice speakers, just kind of being open and having some conversations, talking about suicide prevention. Again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church at the intersection there at Warwick and City Center, right there at that intersection. Church does an amazing job in the community, great partners with us, and I just think it's a great event. And you just never know what someone's going through, how they're feeling, what their situation is. Anniversaries of dates sometimes bring back thoughts, and it's okay to talk about those things, and I think it's important. I try to create the atmosphere here that it's all right, and then I want us to be mentally and physically the best prepared we can be. Right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Ms. Brumfield. Hey, Chief, is there anything we can do working with the police department regarding bullying in elementary schools? So I'm open. If schools want us to do something, or there's some plan, we do some anti-bullying campaigns. We have our SROs now back in every high school and every middle school, and we have adopted, I think, about 75 or 80% of the elementary schools. Meaning, I don't have an officer that I can put in every elementary school in Newport News. I wish we did. I think those early interventions and interactions are important. But we do have an officer in every high school. We do have an officer in every middle school. And we will partner with schools on any programs they have. And we do have officers who have adopted elementary schools, meaning that what we ask is for about 30 minutes a week. Seeing kids get off the bus, get on the bus, read to them at the library, have lunch with them in the cafeteria. I enjoy going up to Jenkins Elementary School and hanging out there with the great principal. I've been to McIntosh Elementary, but just having those interactions. So yeah, if there's something that there's programs out there we're able to partner with, I would be all about that. I can tell you, as the upperclassmen, we talk about have those conversations with our middle school and our high school kids. Young adult police commissioners, we're getting ready to get that spun back up this year, and that's one of the first things that we'll be talking about with the youth. Our young adult police commissioners, if you don't know, is a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school in the city, and we just have really good, hard conversations. And when I say hard, it's not difficult to talk about, but sometimes difficult to sit in a room and want to bring it up. But it's important we do, and we get a lot of good insight. So it's a great, Ms. Brumfield, if you know of any programs out there, I'm open. I think that the younger we start talking about bullying, I know that schools have reached out and we've done some things, we've done some forums, but we hit that a lot with our middle schools and high schools. Tommy, for any veterans out there, there's a number listed, that's our crisis line for suicide. Oh wow, Tommy, thank you, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's something, we were talking about. It's a great point. We talk about suicide awareness and prevention. Not only law enforcement in our profession, firemen, really it's any profession, but veterans are another, that those that have been in the military and come back, or that are in the military, and we've known family members that have lost their lives, that ended family members who have taken their own lives, and yeah, it's I don't know if you can describe it. Matter of fact, I've got some conversations coming up with the Navy and the shipyard in a week or two to talk about those same things and resources that are here in our city when men and women are stationed here for repairs or whatever it might be. What resources do we have in Newport News? And I will tell you this, Ben Thomas and her shop, Human Services, they just do phenomenal work. The police department, fire department, sheriff's department, our Commonwealth Attorney's office, it's all, what can we help provide and guide individuals in directions that they may need assistance. So, Tommy, that's a great point, man. Veterans a great point.
We will have a veteran tomorrow as well.
A speaker?
Yes.
So Sarah was telling me, probably sounds better than I do. She was saying that there is a veteran that will be one of the speakers tomorrow. So let me just personally say this: for any veterans that are out there who would like, I encourage you to come to the event tomorrow. It's going to be very relaxed. But there's some really good speakers that are going to speak from their heart, and it's all about the reason we're doing it is because we care, right? And I think sometimes that's our foundation. Why do you get in law enforcement? Because we care. Why do you have this event? Because we care. Why do we want to focus on bullying? Because we care. Why do we want to focus on young adult police commissioners and youth? Because we care, right? How we invest in other people and just offer, right? Because who knows what events may trigger some of those things. We have some anniversaries here in our city that may trigger some thoughts today of things that happened at one of our high schools last year. So I understand that. And we've had conversations over the last couple of days about some of those situations. So it's a great point. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Good afternoon, Chief. Have you, or you know what? Somebody asked me another question though about. I'm going to come right back. Wasn't there a question about 7-Eleven?
Yep, right there.
Yeah, Debbie. See, it scrolls, but I remember it. Has their suspects been caught? No. So that case is still open. We're not getting as much information as we were originally, but I can tell you the detective assigned to that case is one of the best detectives we have. She's doing a phenomenal job tracking down those leads, addressing that. But to answer your question directly, that case is still open. We're still pushing forward. So I'd ask, while we're there, I'd ask if anyone has. She was talking about the two individuals that lost their lives in 7-Eleven at Killing Creek. It was a double homicide. Two individuals lost their lives inside the business late into the evening. Good people. It's a great community. And I would just ask if anyone has heard anything or has any information, they would provide that and share that. But Detective Rogers has done an amazing job with that case and continues. And it will stay open until we solve it. Right? So I missed. Good afternoon, Chief. Have you or the department thought about putting out public safety videos that may help people if they find themselves in a bad situation like road rage, active shooter situations, etc.? It's a great idea. We've done that before on our Facebook pages. We've talked about some testimonials of officers who have gone through some things and things that they've seen or things that they've been a part of. Those type videos we have, but I think the more the better. Road rage, that was a homicide that we had in our city as a result of road rage. Active shooter, we put some things out there, and we've also did training, right before school started. We did multiple trainings for several of our churches up and down the peninsula here in Newport News, and we also have done active shooter training or craze training, or active shooter training is probably the best way to say it, for all of our schools, all employees, our high schools, and middle schools, and just best practices, awareness, what to do, how you should react, what officers will do. And I know, right? We know that you can't create a scenario for every situation. There's some building blocks, some foundations, some standards that we'll do in those situations to try to decrease the probability of individuals getting hurt or something like that happening. That's a great point. We try to use media and our outlets a lot. We post a lot of those videos on our Facebook page. And I think it was last year or the year before that we did a lot. There were 5 or 6 testimonials from officers who had been through some situations, had seen some things, talked about some things. I think it's important to talk about that. So that's a great point. So this morning, about, I guess it was about 10 o'clock? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock this morning, I got to meet new dispatchers. So we have a new 911, our Dispatchers Academy. 5 new individuals that are going through the process. I got to hear a little bit about them, their background, where they're from. One shares my hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio, so I was teasing her a little bit. We talked a little bit about Skyline and Gold Star Chili, right? We talked about that. But we just took the command staff down, introduced ourselves, and I wanted to hear from them why they chose the city of Newport News, why they were interested in doing dispatching and how they felt about that profession, that career. And when we shared our opinions, our feelings, I believe wholeheartedly, any powers that be there at the state, I feel the dispatchers should be first responders. Some of the same benefits that law enforcement and fire get, I think the dispatchers should fall in that category as well. The stuff that they do, hearing calls come in, not being able to see the result, but keeping people calm and trying to get information in critical situations. They just do phenomenal jobs. I think they save lives. I know of a couple that have helped give instructions of someone giving birth over the phone. And I think they've saved our lives before, keeping us calm. Sometimes we get ratcheted up and we'll say things back that we shouldn't say to dispatchers, right? Well, where's the shooter at? This is what we have. This is last bit information. We're trying to call the caller back. But I just have the utmost respect for them. The instructors there, Val and Laura, just doing an amazing job. And I'll tell you, that is a hard profession. But it, like law enforcement, is extremely rewarding. They just do a phenomenal work. I want them to know I appreciate them. And like I said, I was excited to go down and spend a little bit of time with them. Anna, hi Chief, how are you? I'm enjoying 90 plus degrees. Miss you all. Oh, Anna, please be safe down there in, I think, Texas, right? It's a little south. Be careful with the weather down there. And then I hope you enjoy your vacation, your time. Now get back here, right? Volunteers and the department needs you back here, so let's go. I also want to talk to you a little bit about our recruit class. So we have 2 classes in. One class will graduate in November. We're really looking forward to that class coming out. And then there's another class right behind them that will graduate the first year around February. So 2 classes, about 18, 20 in each class there. And we're starting to hire for our class that will start in January. So when we get these vacancies filled, we still have individuals applying. We don't have the number of individuals that have been applying in the past. We're starting to see some decreases there. We're trying to find new ways and innovative ways, best practices ways to attract people to our department. So I will tell you now, if you're out there in, is it Facebook land, social media land? What's the right term? That if you're interested in a career in law enforcement, I would submit to you that the Newport News Police Department is one of the best locations to be. We have excellent benefits. I'm working with the city manager now to hopefully offer a few more. We have excellent training, great men and women. You get to do a lot. We have a lot of different units and divisions. But if you're interested in law enforcement, this is an excellent, excellent department. I will tell you that feds, they pick us apart sometimes, but they will select a lot of officers from our department. And I think that's because of the experience they get here and the training that we offer. But, do we get it right all the time? Absolutely not. Do we make mistakes? Every day. Does the chief of police? Absolutely. But I will tell you, I'm honored and humbled to work with such men and women who care so much, who try so hard to get it right. That the things they see and deal with, and they go home and come back 8 hours later and do it all over again. The compassion, the time, the effort, the stuff they give up to do this job, I'll tell you, like dispatching, this job is challenging, dangerous at times. It will break your heart at times. But it's also extremely, extremely rewarding to help people in the very worst times of their lives, situations where they're critical situations, right? If someone dials 911, we will come. And I remember I had just seen acts of bravery and courage, compassion, and that's why I've been doing this job for 30 years. So the men and women who join this department, sworn in civilian both, officers, dispatchers, forensic technicians, they matter to me. They're not just a number here, they matter. They matter. And I'm honored to work with them. And I think in this profession, relationships, and remembering why we raised our right hand and took an oath to serve the citizens of this city, We just had our 911 ceremony last month. No, this month, right? Just a few weeks ago, at our at our city hall, we had a speaker who was there on 9/11 in D.C. and the Pentagon, and is currently a Capitol police officer. She was a phenomenal story. I got to spend a little bit of time with her, and she told me, she said, "Chief, thanks for allowing me to come and share my story." But the stories she talked about, what she saw brave men and women doing. That's why we do this job. Did I miss Frank?
He's at 2 parts. There's the first.
Okay. My question is, what is being done to locate the murder suspects that killed my friend Logan Thomas and Peter Patel at Stone Creek? Logan turned 36. Yeah, I was just talking about that. So one of the best detectives we have in the department is on that case. We had a lot of information coming in at first. We're not seeing the same amount of information come in. We're still asking citizens if anyone has heard anything or knows anything. Trying to go over, we're really trying to hit the technology side with the cameras that might have caught anything, any license plate readers that caught any vehicles that were in that area at that time. We have to go back and talk with. Working with other entities that might have some information. We stay on those cases until they're solved, and that is a hard one. And I will tell you, it was tragic. I was really overwhelmed. Any loss of life is sad. And regret is sad. It's impacting. But when I saw the outpouring of that community to those individuals, it was clear to me that those two individuals had a great relationship with the community that they served, and that the community knew those two individuals. I was just, we did a walk through the neighborhood and check on residents, and we were just flooded with individuals who came out, and that is a great community, and what happened to those two young men is tragic. But I will tell you, it's just like some of the other cases we have that we have not solved yet. Some cases we solve a year or 2 years later. Some bit of information pops up, or some ballistic thing matches another case, right? So we just stay on it, and just continue to work and continue to press forward. I get briefed twice a year on the open homicide cases for the year, once mid-year, once at the end of the year. And that's one that I hope, like others, that we close. But we just have to stay vigilant. She is just doing an amazing job. I know she has put in a lot of hours, a lot of interviews on that case. Sadly, so far, only one update was given earlier in September. There was no additional leads, footage that could be left. Yeah, so I can't talk about active leads that are being, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do anything to hurt the case. I can just tell you that it is still actively investigated. One of our best investigators has that case. She does a phenomenal job. And I don't want to say she is obsessed with that case, but she's on it, right? Oh, here's a phone call I want to follow up on. Here's a bit of information I want to follow up on. And you're right, we haven't got the same amount of information that we had originally coming through. But there's still people that call. There's still information that comes across. There's still, ballistic evidence, right? What type of firearm was used, what type of casings were recovered. Individuals may have heard something and know something, those type of things. With any of the screenshots of the suspects put on one of the billboards or anything for Stone Creek, was that? That we did release several. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you didn't see them, but we released several photos of different sides of shots and photos.
You have a billboard with a reward.
And there's even rewards that have been put out not only by 7-Eleven, but also Crime Watch, right, or Crime Stopping Report, talking about the case on billboards as well as different media outlets. There's been a lot of information, a lot of strategies that have tried to get more interest in that case if someone knows something. And I'll take the moment here that the double murder that happened at inside the 7-Eleven in Stone Creek, that any case, that anyone that might have information or might hear something on, might know something about, please reach out to us and let us know. You just never know what little bit of information might trigger. Well, I know this vehicle is there, or I heard this guy say to whoever that he knew something, right? You just never know. So I appreciate that.
We did.
So Mr. Frank, we did, we kind of hit that now, but there was information that's been put out, of what we could, right? There's some things that we can't reveal or we don't want to reveal, but there was a lot of information that's put out here locally on billboards, rewards, even up rewards. I don't have the intimate knowledge on the Bixby case. I talked to Chief Talbert a lot and collaborated a lot on some cases we've had similarities on cases we try to solve and find, but there has been a lot of information put out on that case, but there's also some things that we can't put out, right, or that can't hinder the case. And each case is unique and different. Each case is unique and different, and I don't want to hurt anything that's in the process, if you know what I mean. So we talked about our recruit classes. We talked about suicide awareness. Touch base on our 911 ceremony that we had here. We're always hiring. We continue to keep our requisitions open. Like I said, if you're interested in law enforcement, it's a great department to come and work at. You have a lot of opportunities, phenomenal training. We have just about double what the state requirement is. We have a great partnership with our DCJS, that's Department of Criminal Justice Services, that oversee what our training is, and we're trying to new and extra type of training. And what happens is you have to have so many certified classes to be a certified officer in the state of Virginia. But there are some things that we do in training that we don't get any credit for towards certification. This week is one of them. So for this week, we completely put the computers, the books, the PowerPoints away, and we take our recruits out of the training environment and we put them in our community. So what does that mean? So they're going to interact with youth, they're going to interact with individuals that are homeless, they're going to talk to elementary kids, they're going to do some repairs, they're going to talk to individuals who have drug addiction, they're going to talk to individuals who suffer from abuse or domestic violence. They're going to do community walks and get to know individuals in neighborhoods that 5 months down the road they're going to be patrolling. And I think that's important. We can talk about passion, and we can talk about community-oriented policing in a classroom setting, but it means a lot to take someone out and have them interact. So we work with Pastor Cheeks, and he coordinates a lot of the things that the class does in our community, whether it's working in a garden, interacting with youth, at a rec center. We do a lot with the Boys and Girls Clubs. But I think it helps set a foundation, a mindset of what we want officers to be in Newport News, what we want to focus on, right, is the citizens, people. And I just think that's is very beneficial to their training. We don't get any credit for that, but I think it makes us more well-rounded. A little bit of foundation about how we interact with people. One of the other examples I would use is we put together a 40-hour week on just human interaction, humanity, conversations, how we talk to people. The number one complaint that any department gets is how an individual may act with someone at a traffic stop or at a domestic violence or some type of situation or scene or a call that they're on. So we try to remember we're human, right? Just because we put this badge and patches on doesn't make us different than anybody else. We may be held to a higher standard, but we're still human. So when someone's yelling at you, to be able to take a step back, or when someone's frustrated or agitated, to use techniques to try to calm people down or reassure people that we're there to listen and in fact listen, right? And hear people. And I don't mean just hear what they're saying, but feel what they're saying, what situation, and try to bring resolve. So those are two weeks that we add on to our academy. We don't get any credit for, but I think it helps us in personal development and what our culture is in the department. Logan Hudson. Hi, Chief. I really need to speak with you. Okay, if you just call the department or you can email me and send me your number or whatever I can do, just give me a way to get in contact with you and we'll do what we can, okay? Am I all caught up, Sarah? Did I miss anything?
That's the end of the comments.
Okay, so we talked about recruit community week, we talked about hiring, we talked about our 2 classes. Next month is domestic violence month, so we're on suicide prevention, domestic violence month, domestic violence month next month. It is. I'll share a little bit with you. We're trying. Haven't got it done yet, but we're trying to get myself and the other chiefs in the region to sit down and just have a conversation about domestic violence. It affects all of us. I've learned so much in 30 years, and recently, over the last 5 or 6 years. But just recently, we were really looking at the crime that we're responding to, whether it's an auto theft or some of the home break-in or burglaries that we see are domestic oriented. So when we dive down, trying to get a handle on that, we're solving those cases, but it was a little surprising to me the number of incidents that surround domestic violence, other than just abuse, other than just physical assaults, right? There's other things that happen. So, done a lot of training in the department about how to respond to those calls. Now, I will tell you, we're not psychologists. People have plaques on the walls for years, and that there are those entities that just focus on domestic violence. And officers, we're going to call, and we're focusing on rapes, robberies, shootings, domestic violence calls, homelessness, gambling. So we're learning some techniques about how we approach domestic violence. As soon as we walk across that threshold, we can set the whole tone for how that call is going to go. Whether we have good follow-up. It's important that we spend time with witnesses. And from the law enforcement side of things, the most important thing for us right away is to make sure everyone's safe, right? To separate entities and to try to calm down and understand what it is that we have, what is the situation, and then to some resolve. So there's a couple different functions and aspects and factors and elements that play into what we do and trying to provide service. But I will tell you, it is one of the more dangerous calls that officers go on. It is one of the most frequent calls that officers go on. And so we continue to strive to be better and better and better. And we hired some individuals that actually work for our department as civilians to help train us on better ways to respond to domestic violence calls, better ways to follow up. We have a domestic violence unit. But next month we'll be trying to do some things. We're trying to do some things of how we highlight awareness, prevention. If you see something, to say something. Just maybe creating avenues. I will tell you, and it starts young too. That maybe it goes along maybe with bullying, but even in some of our teenagers, what are good relationships? What to look for in good relationships, and what might be early signs of bullying or control and those type of things. And I will tell you, the shootings and homicides that we go on, but there's a good amount that are domestic related. So I think it's just something that's important that we focus on it, and it's something that we try to do here a little different. But again, I'm going to be reaching out to the other chiefs in the jurisdictions surrounding us, the 7 cities, and see if we can sit down and have some conversations about domestic violence and talk about the importance of it. So I think it scrolled by, but Hudson, I think I got a number there that I'll
Passed
shoot
it
you
on to Brittany.
we'll go from there. Faith, are you still drinking it? Yes, I'm still drinking the Diet Mountain. I'm not a coffee drinker. Now I can do some hot chocolate, but I'm not a coffee drinker. But Mountain Dew. When I got out of college, I had to switch to Diet though. I started I'm having trouble with the belt. But yes, I am. All right, Ms. Brumfield, you might not want to have your phone number out there like that. Sitting in the message. Oh, she's responding. Okay. No, I got you. So yeah, just recapping, Suicide Awareness Month and Prevention. We got a big day tomorrow. We're offering just some speakers to come in and talk. It's open to police departments, officers, civilian, neighborhood groups across the city, Peninsula partners at First Baptist Church there at Warwick and City Center. There's 3 or 4 speakers. They will do a great job. It's just a good time to talk about prevention and awareness for suicide. You never just know what someone's going through. Next month we hit on is Domestic Violence Month. There'll be more to follow when we do our chat next month. We'll talk about that as well. We had a great 9/11 service remembering those men and women, heroic men and women that gave their lives. The number of firemen and officers at the field in Pennsylvania, the Pentagon, the towers in New York. It still gets me choked up thinking about those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, giving their life trying to save others. You know that day forever. You know, I tell you what's interesting about 9/11 is when I talk to some teenagers, they're like, well, they've read about it. But we'll show some videos and have some conversations, and it's really interesting to hear their thoughts about it. Yeah, it's just, and when you see it maybe for the first time, you see some tears, right? And so it's just important that we never forget the sacrifice that people made. 2 new academies. One will graduate in November, the other one in February. Our Dispatchers Academy, I got to meet those 5 individuals this morning. Fantastic. Talked about our recruits are out in Community Week, so you may see them around a little bit doing some things in the community. If you're looking for a profession in law enforcement, whether it's sworn and wearing this uniform or civilian, dispatchers, forensics, we have those things. We've actually hired social workers that work inside our department, domestic violence experts who work inside our department, just trying to do non-traditional things in law enforcement, like trying to evolve and do that. Continue to work on cases and information. Our clearance, when I look at our clearance rates each day, clearance rates are cases that are solved. And the FBI sets a national standard or average when they look at crime across the country. So your goal is always to be above that national average. And I will tell you, for the first time in years, the homicide clearance rate, national average, dropped to about 50%. We're sitting on about 65, 70%. And I'm telling you, we have poured a lot of resources and technology, just about every category, whether it's larcenies, aggravated assault, robberies, auto theft, burglaries, rape, homicide. We are above the national average now. Still, we do our best to prevent those. But when those crimes do occur, in the world we live in, you can't turn on your television and not see those crimes occur. But it's important that we try to solve those crimes and provide some type of closure, or bring those responsible to justice or before a judge and the judicial system, judicial process. So I appreciate the hard work that our officers do responding to those calls, our detectives investigating them, our forensics technicians and processing them. All those things work together. And that, thank you for all that you do. Thank you and your officers do. Every so often when I can't sleep, I check my cameras. I see officers riding through. That makes all the difference to me. Wow, I appreciate that. I'll tell you one of the things, I always encourage officers to have something outside of work. Some type of outlet. I think that's good for physical health and mental health. One of the things I enjoy is, especially this time of year, is going to a high school football game on Friday evening and Saturday afternoon. So I was with Chief Grinstead last week. He really got me hooked in here when I first got to town in this city. And I enjoy going out to Todd Stadium and seeing our students, interacting with the principals and the coaches on the sidelines, athletic directors. We have a great partnership and relationship with our schools, Dr. Parker and members of the school board, Rashard Wright. We have a lot of conversations. It was important for me and for us all to get those SROs back in our high schools and middle schools. I think that the youth that is the best asset we have. That's our future. And I want us to have good relationships with our youth in our community. We usually partner so much with the Boys and Girls Club. Hal and Rob just do a phenomenal job allowing us to interact with the kids and be part part of the events and attend the events that they put on. So I appreciate those that took time, some conversations we had today. We'll do this again at 6 o'clock this evening. Sarah, you're coming back, right? It's not just me alone, right? So I think I got 1 or 2 phone calls to make after this for some people that sent me their number. I'll reach out to you. But yeah, again, the point in these conversations are questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns, issues, just conversation that I can share with you and those that, I know work and hustle and bustle and kids and different events going on. I cannot believe we're coming up on holiday season already. That's how Halloween can be, right? But to share information when you have time. You can sit down and look at some of the comments. You can still send us any message you want on Facebook. We'll try to talk a little bit about its relevance and what we're doing, at least question and ideas, things that we could do. This is a hard profession, and there are individuals who walk away from it. There are individuals that walk away from police work because it's not what they want to do, or their families don't want them in it anymore. Kids don't want to. I understand those things. I understand, and it's not for everybody. But I want men and women who do this job in this city to know that I appreciate it, and I respect it, and I'm humbled and honored to work with such great talent. I see how much effort they put in. I see how the cases sometimes will consume them. I see crime scenes and calls that they go on that affect them. So I just want to tell the men and women of the department, sworn and civilian dispatchers, forensic technicians, officers, they work all 3 shifts, right? It's not Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We don't get the weekends off. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you did. Please be safe. Remember, school's back in now, right? Be careful driving, especially in the mornings, in the evenings as buses are dropping our kids off. Just please be careful in driving. Just be mindful. Look out for one another. Take care of yourselves, and we'll do this again at 6 this evening.